Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a very late episode of San Antonio by Night, but we are here. Last we left off, Urien was doing a little bit of errand running of his own and kind of just reminiscing a bit with Theodore Galvin and really kind of taking in the implications of what it is that Kyle A. Calhoun is aiming to do in San Antonio. After a bit of perusing around the city, about half of the night's gone, and Velda and Amber have spent that period of time speaking with Baron Jameson and Baron Batista and filling them in on what Galvin has reported to them. But we left Urien as he was giving Amber a call to meet him at the meeting house because something else came up. Her phone might still be a question at this particular point in time, so we are going to join our coterie at the meeting house, where Urien, Galvin, Doc, Carlos, and Amber and Velda are all present. The night is getting fairly cool, and it looks like it might rain. But given San Antonio weather is all over the place, who knows?
Yes, who knows indeed. But, Mr. Daw, you had something that you wish to bring to my attention?
Your phone, Amber. Would you please bring it out?
Sure. And she would take out her phone and place it down.
He gestures to Doc. Is this the one you were discussing?
Yes. Yeah, that's the one.
He picks it up, looking at Amber. Doc, would you be kind enough to explain to Amber in terms she would understand what exactly she just placed on the table?
Basically, John came to me with a package he had intercepted, and seeing as I'm not the type to ask questions, he paid me a substantial amount of money to take that phone and basically make it a tracking and recording device. And you've had it in your possession for about a week at this point. And whoever's on the other end of that line knows everywhere you've been and said and texted over the course of the last week. I thought maybe it was for some kind of undercover op. I didn't realize how undercover that might have been.
I do not accuse you, Doc. You were not a part of this masquerade at the time. You were simply a pawn in its doing. The person responsible has already paid the hefty price. But
I didn't see anything else wrong with the phone. Otherwise, I would have brought it to the attention.
No, you did not see. But perhaps this answers the curiosity on why I did not carry one. To put it kindly, there is a reason the old ways are still in circulation. In fact, I would say that you are experiencing in your current existence a, what do they call it, retro.
Retro, Renaissance, either way. Okay.
Is this something that should really be discussed around this mobile device then?
He looks stuck.
It really only just records the data that's transmitted through the device. It doesn't necessarily pick up on anything that you might say. However, Google might. Or Siri.
That's fair.
That's an iPhone, isn't it?
It is, but I turn Siri off. I don't use it.
That's getting harder and harder these days, my dear.
Here's a
It is.
question. Is there any way that we could possibly use this to our advantage? Maybe trace back where this data is going to?
He didn't tell me where it was going, but I assume it's to your enemies, if he was one of them.
Exactly. So if there is a way to trace the trail of the data...
I encrypted it.
Ah,
Only someone with the encryption key can unlock it, which I'm sure he shared with the person in charge.
and
didn't
you
keep a
don't
copy
have the
of
key?
encryption key?
The encryption key doesn't matter anymore. It's a matter of whether or not you still use that phone, because the software and hardware on the device is not really removable without breaking the damn thing.
Not for anything related to this. It's just personal use of mundane things now.
It's a one-way ticket.
After-
That's all I know.
After the entire thing with finding that little strip of metal inside the back of the phone, I stopped using it for...
Something tells me that was a decoy.
Yeah.
You were kind of meant to find that and meant to assume that that was all you would find.
Find. Yep. But, again, luckily, I haven't used it for anything. Whilst they might have its location data, I haven't used it for anything overly sensitive. I've been keeping that all to personal meetings in the last week. And when she says that, there would be a side glance at Urien. So, yeah, so that's a thing. What is it with, even in... that fucking asshole. That's 2 now. And I can't even get him to pay me back because he's Ash.
Theodore kind of pipes up, be careful who it is that you're speaking about.
I'm speaking about John. Dear departed John.
Yes.
It is a thing that I had to become accustomed to, Calvin. The uncouth nature of the young. And the truth is I had to adopt it to an extent. Our own masquerade within the masquerade, so to speak.
I don't know that I could ever get used to such things. Such language is crass.
Alas, Ember has not had a upbringing worthy of her nature. Much that I mourn. However,
It makes me miss... It definitely does make me miss the more eloquent nature of our harpy back in Jackson.
To be fair, more than one eye had wandered in that direction. However, I try my best not to reminisce. Sometimes it is heartfelt, other times it is simply painful, and it does not aid us in our current endeavor.
Certainly.
That being said, Amber, Velda, I would like to end up knowing where you currently are with your plans and where it is that you are requiring assistance.
If I'm being frank with you, I'm a little lost on what to do next.
As far as my side of things goes, I did the reporting to Baron Jameson. Not using that phone, of course. Did the reporting to Baron Jameson as requested, so that he is aware of the current situation. Aside that, given the things that happened a couple of nights ago with Troy Bennett, I'm also not too sure on where to go. I've been making contacts through the church, but otherwise... it's listless at the moment, and I don't take any pride in saying that.
He thinks about this for a moment. You can see him looking at the board, so to speak. Galvin, I believe that your methods would probably be best in this particular case. Amber here requires to end up gaining a following, one that is useful specifically in gaining back control of the airport and its surrounding locations. Needs to do so without raising the ire immediately of its current occupier. As much as I would love to end up believing that Baron Bautista could end up doing it upon their own after the Camaria's position had been compromised, let it be known, Amber, that any support that they will be gaining are from those who are desperate in one fashion or another. That can make them dangerous. Mouse cornered by a large cat.
Well, a cornered animal is a dangerous one.
Yes, but I intend to remove the mouse hole. Theodore, I wish for you to counsel Amber in this. I think your specialties in particular. You see, despite their particular preoccupation, believe it or not, the Nosferatu are, well, quite capable of interacting and, in fact, using individuals. Sometimes it is a necessity. And I believe Galvin can end up doing this for you, guiding you in this endeavor. After all, you two you are treading a similar path that he has. Sheriffs do not operate in a bubble, after all.
No.
Do you believe you can stomach the ungood nature of this Toreador child, or Theodore?
I will do what I must.
Amber, you will end up honoring My guest. And their wisdom is yours to tap into. Galvin knows the layout, knows the individuals. Use that. But do not take it for granted. This is a rare opportunity.
I will make sure that it doesn't go to waste.
You will learn to end up expressing that same tone with many. And I only hope that you keep your venom inside your fangs. As most vipers should. Velda, I wish for you to come with me.
Of course.
He looks to Doc and Carlos. Carlos, you remember what we discussed on your first few nights of embrace when it comes to understanding the nature of our condition?
Yeah.
I wish for you to express it to Doc. And Doc, do understand at this point this is as much an aid for Carlos as it is for you. While he may be your elder, it is by only a few months, which may as well be milliseconds in most eyes. So, I will end up having a private conversation with Velda. And when I am done, I will return to you too. There's much we must prepare, but first I must prepare you too for what is to come.
They give you a nod and head towards the basement to get a little bit of privacy.
Given the nature of our guest, I will stand and start to walk with Velda towards the front door. A stroll may end up doing us some good. And some time alone with Galvin, well, either we'll walk out the wiser, or she won't be walking out at all.
Alright. So, Urien and Velda make their way out the front door while Galvin remains with Amber. He just kind of looks you up and down, kind of studying you for a moment.
Alright. This is a tough nut to crack. And I think there's no generalist approach to take as far as doing this quietly.
You think you have to ruffle their feathers?
No, I don't think that we need to ruffle their feathers, not in any major capacity. One could throw a diversion at them, sure, but it would be a stopgap at best. Wouldn't actually allow anything to actually get done. No. I think, Mr. Galvin, that this requires a nuanced approach. A knowledge of the strengths and weaknesses of those that would be encountered, those who have made the airport their home after the unfortunate departure of Mr. Shehi. That instead of looking blindly for mooks to throw, that instead we look for people who can target weak points.
It is far more effective.
Well, we need 100% efficiency. At this point, we can't really afford anything less, especially if those Ancilla have arrived. That is what you said, yes? Ancilla?
Yes.
I'm still learning the terms and whatnot. I apologize, but knowing the strengths and weaknesses of the people that have arrived means that we'll be able to formulate a plan of recruitment and attack. So instead of simply grabbing just any random person off the street, we can go and curate a search.
I will follow your approach.
Then I suppose the first thing that we need to figure out is who are we dealing with, and what do they specialize in, and where is it do they lack?
Who out of them are you aware of?
Currently,
Out of all those
I am-
involved.
if we're talking about the ones who are not departed,
Yes.
Calhoun himself would be my only awareness currently.
How much do you know about
I-
Kyle A. Calhoun?
I know that I have spoken with him on a single occasion, and he seems like the kind of person who he's not the kind to get his hands dirty. He doesn't seem like the combat type. He seems like the one to do things in meetings and boardrooms. A word here, a word there. An unquenchable ambition and force of will to get what he wishes to get done.
You are partially correct. He is ambitious. He is every bit the typical Ventru, I suppose. Especially given that he is the great-grandchild of Marius Calhoun, my former prince, and is likely going to be every bit as stubborn a man as Marius was.
I would expect no less from such progeny. Which means there's no point in going head on with him. That is something that is doomed to fail. Or if it didn't fail, it would not be worth the resources that one would have to throw at it to make it a worthwhile venture. So, I suppose the first question that I have of you, Mr. Galvin, is... He is stubborn, yes. But, kindred or not, every person has their weakness. Has their faltering. The 1-2 things that make them misstep. Even just slightly. I would say out of everyone here, you are the one who knows the man the best.
You are likely correct. Out of the two of us here. However, I'm trying to still come to a reconciliation in myself about whether or not I should divulge such weaknesses to you.
Well,
Kylie Calhoun is the grandchild of my dear prince. And I would not desire to see him fail. So what you ask of me, what you're asking of me is to betray the secrets of my prince's progeny. I will not divulge to you his plan. I will not divulge to you his weakness. You are to find that on your own if you are to find it. But he does have them, if that is some solace.
well, it at the very least means that I'm not slamming my head against a brick wall repeatedly. It means that any effort that I put into it should at the very least not be wasted effort.
He is a neonate, Miss Dupree. Was embraced in the early 50s, I believe. But he is still a neonate. Still very young in the eyes of the Camarilla.
Yes.
You might use that to your advantage.
60, 70 years. Young in the eyes of the Camarilla. Well, one thing that I am aware of, at the very least as far as the Camarilla goes, I don't know very much. But one thing I know I can be sure of is, with these Ancilla coming in, I don't think it would be out of the realm of possibility that one or more of them might have their own agenda to usurp what's going on here.
Which also makes it all the more important that he established himself a power base. Promises he can keep.
Yes.
A prince is nothing without his court.
Quite so.
A prince lives and dies by his court. If he has a very solid court who, for all intents and purposes, are very cordial, at the very minimum, the best of friends at the best, then he is a powerful individual because he has people.
Yes.
I suppose that's what you are attempting to learn on a much smaller scale. In the kind realm.
Yes. But that does bring to mind if it is him.
Do you have a court, Miss Dupree?
Do I have a court?
The concept is still the same. If you are to be prince over the certain industries or influences or anything that your young heart desires, then who is among your court? That is the question you should be asking yourself.
And it's the question that I should ask of dealing with this problem. Who is Calhoun's court? What kind of power bases he brought with him? Of course, until recently that did include yourself.
Yes.
But but the question is, who else?
Among the survivors of Jackson, there is Colette Crevier. She is aspiring to take the position of Harpy. Strangely enough, Banu Hakim. Fernando Steele is my apprentice. The last of my line. He was to serve with me, perhaps in a position of hound, perhaps not. Seneschal would be Ashley Sanderson. And if you had wished it, you would have been an honored member of the court, given your lineage.
Yes. Yeah. I see. So that's looking at one side of the equation. And then, of course, there's us. You asked me who is in my court.
Who is your court? Who is your seneschal? Who is your harpy? Who is your sheriff? If such things exist in a kind world.
Right now, these are things that I have to build with the kind. If I was to put it down as far as my profession goes, modeling and fashion.
Which is not a very strong industry in this city, if I must be frank with you.
No, it is not. I have fans, but that's about it. But it is why I've been branching out. And right now, whilst those positions aren't filled, I am...
How long have you been embraced, Miss Dupree?
This would be my 5th year.
And why have you not established yourself a court?
I was... If I am to be truthful with you, Mr. Galvin, my sire taught me enough to get into trouble, but not enough to know to not do it.
And were you not paying attention?
I was paying attention, but he purposefully kept me hamstrung to keep me reliant on him and his advice.
A sire's advice, whether you like them or not, is valuable.
It is. But the advice that he would give would be specifically to keep me under his thumb. And see, I figured out very quickly that the reason that he embraced me was simply to keep me as a work of art.
You would make a fine specimen.
That was his thought. But of course, at the same time, a piece of art does not speak unless spoken to, does not look unless looked at, does not hear unless, well, it does not do anything unless it is told to do something.
Did you not think that you, being the statuesque person, was to be in the room, but unnoticed, much like a Nosferatu? Did you not
I
think
thought
that
that.
was your purpose?
I thought that once, but as it was in my kind life, so as it is now as a kindred. When I enter a room, eyes are drawn to me. I'm a distraction piece.
Which is very useful.
Very much so. But being... I apologize, please go ahead.
I'm not here to judge your upbringing and what you may have gleaned from it or not.
No, you're here to help me in the here and now. Do what it is that needs to be done.
I am here to be an advisor. To give you advice. As you seem to have not taken any from your sire.
I have found things that he has told me outside of knowledge to be failing me as of late. But that is another topic entirely. You ask me who it is that is in my court, and my response to you right now is that I do not have one, and therefore I must build one.
Then where do you start?
If we are talking about the kind, I start in the contact areas that I already have. The easier to get a foot in the door, you must start talking to people, which is the thing that I have been doing over the past nights with this church that has been recently liberated from Hugh.
And have you put them to work?
Right now, I have gathered a little bit. Unfortunately, the frequency of meeting to do more than simply chat and get the very basics out of someone is lacking. However, given a very particular conversation that I was having this past Wednesday with a fitness trainer, someone who works in the gym scene, bodybuilding, personal fitness, things like that.
Where do you need people to be?
Where do I need people to be?
That is when you decide who should be there.
If we are talking about the airport, we need them in security. Although I'm sure that's already been locked down tighter than
You would be surprised what a Tremere can do with an airport.
A Tremere. Then the people... Then I think I know where the people need to go. Not into my hands, but into a Tremere of the domain. A fellow by the name of Clovis.
I've seen him. Former Camarilla, if I understand. From New York.
Yes, I believe so.
Hugh mentioned it.
Hmm.
He had a particular grudge against that Tremere. Something about a sister.
Yes, a quite messy situation involving what I believe to be some kind of tradition or something. I was never told the full details.
The traditions are law to the Camarilla.
Yes,
Anyone who does not
and
abide them, Anarch or Camarilla, are subject to their laws in a Camarilla state.
Well, it's one of the many things that makes Praxis so dangerous. Makes this turns into a Camarilla state, they then have an excuse.
For all intents and purposes, the north side of this city is a Camarilla state.
Now, you must pardon my naivete. I know of the masquerade
Yes.
as a tradition.
Perhaps the most important of all of the traditions.
Would you be so kind as to fill me in on the rest?
The other traditions revolve around domain, progeny, and accountability. And forgive me, as the DM, I forgot all of the traditions. But he does name them off and what they mean.
I see. So, respect one's domain.
It is a violation to walk into a domain and not announce yourself to the owner or domain holder. In this case, would be Calhoun. However, he has not set up an Elysium in which people can present themselves to him just yet.
No. But we have one.
It has not been sanctioned.
No, but I'm sure that it would be a long shot, but I would hope that the principle holds. Because it is meant as just that, a neutral meeting ground whereupon people can talk without fear of conflict, at least physical conflict. Or the weapons people wield are simply their words and nothing more.
You at least have some concept of an Elysium, at least.
This... I see. My thought then is this. I need to get back on the trail of providing Clovis with these people so that at a point I may be able to request his aid. At the same time, I also need to make sure that I need to begin the buildings of my own court, as you put it.
Without it, you're stretched thin. Even an Nosferatu can have his own handlers of matters. Are you aware of the blood bond?
I am aware of the blood bond, yes.
Then use it to your advantage.
I am also aware.
You are also Toreador. with this
Yes.
whose clan is based on the skill of persuasion, subterfuge.
Yes, persuading and lying and cheating and using one's wiles and words and wits to get what it is that they desire out of people without ever truly having to lift a finger.
Then how do you not have a court? How in the world have you gone this long without one? It's easy for you, Miss Dupree.
I suppose in that, Mr. Galvin, I am my own worst enemy. But
That is perhaps the failing of most neonates. They get in their own way.
But I think, when you asked me who my sheriff was, I think I might actually have an answer for you. He is not kind, but I think he would fit the role perfectly.
Then use that to your advantage. Your word is law in that regard, Miss Dupree.
Then
Should
I think,
you will something to happen amongst the kine, it shall happen. It is the strength of a Toreador.
Then I think I shall begin flexing those muscles yet a bit more than I have been. And I think that starts with putting that dear sheriff, which you to put it to work. And it'll probably be at this point that Amber, due to her beginning to having worked with, some not so nice kind, probably has a burner. And on that burner, she's probably going to send a message to Benji.
You see, under the bandages, that Theodore kind of furrows his brows at you. You have more than one.
Yes, this is what's called a burner. A disposable thing so that it can be used for more nefarious purposes and then destroyed so that it cannot be traced.
It looks just like the other one. And
It does.
you know for an absolute fact that they are absolutely not the same thing. Your burner is an old kind of 4G-ish smartphone?
Yeah, it's either a 4G smartphone or it's like a flip phone. Like one of the really, really basic ones that you'd like.
And you
get
had an
like
iPhone 11.
Yeah. He's like Emma would probably chuckle. There's I think one of the things that I shall do as you have, and I know will continue to give me sound advice on the things that I should do. In recompense, I think I should catch you up a little bit on the trappings of technology today. It is simply another battlefield that Kindred use.
Kindred have survived millennia without using such devices. I think that I will take my chances not using them at all. Convoluted pieces of machinery.
Oh, and that is more than fine. But it never hurts to know what it is that permeates society.
It has
Knowing
never been my job to know what permeates society. It has always been my job to enforce the law.
Well, I suppose in that maybe it is better that you don't know. But I think
I do not need to know this celebrity gossip to be able to enforce the traditions.
these days
I will leave that to
Mr.
the
Galvin,
neonates.
fair enough. All I would tell you, Mr. Galvin, is that these days, these bricks of silicon, glass, and metal are just another part of the masquerade that we keep.
Another breach to the masquerade. If not handled carefully, I'm sure. As many of those as I've confiscated from neonates in the past.
Oh, quite so. I could imagine.
It's foolhardy.
It is, but at the same time, you just as equally stand out if you don't have one.
Better to be the 1 in a million than to be caught as one of the many.
You are not incorrect in that, Mr. Galvin. You are not incorrect. But no, Amber would send a message to Benji, saying that they need to talk about getting stuff mobile.
And he says that he can meet up with you at La Medianoche if you want.
La Medianoche is fine. In fact, it's perfect. I need to have a little chat with Isabella anyway.
Then I suppose you and Galvin make your way towards La Medianoche.
And as they are going, Amber would probably be thinking about, Galvin asked, if she had a court, who would be her seneschal? Who would be her, who would be her seneschal? Who would be her harpy?
Mm-hmm.
And who would fill those positions? Because honestly, right now, out of character, I have no fucking idea.
I suppose Amber will have to find out, much like the rest of us.
Very much so.
In the meantime, however, Urien and Velda, where are you?
I have brought Velda out to some of the more secluded areas in the woods. We're surrounded, after all, by a little bit of woodland, a little piece of the wild preserved inside the city. I think that's one of the reasons I chose this household for my domain.
Velda picks her way very carefully, trying not to break her shoes or get too filthy.
Are you so worried about footwear?
Are you not?
No.
I can't say I'm surprised,
Why is
but I
that?
do like to keep my clothing immaculate.
Why is that?
walking about with grime and grunge just doesn't fit my ideal. It doesn't look good.
And yet, at this exact moment, it is a thing of no consequence.
And yet is a thing that my mind cannot avoid.
Such as the disposition of your blood.
Apparently.
I am curious. What are you doing here, Velda? In truth.
Making my way.
No. If you were making your way, you would have escaped the city as soon as you heard Camarilla is coming. You are many things, but from what I've seen, you've been given the keys to the proverbial city. It is placed right in front of you. And yet, what are you doing? You are lost, like a babe in the woods.
I am attempting to learn. I would like to live up to the namesake that has been passed down to me, now that I know about it. And this is a good opportunity. It's an opportunity that may very well get me killed, but it is an opportunity nonetheless.
Indubitably. However, he kind of looks you over. You are unsure as to what to do next.
Indeed.
Why
So
is
many steps have been taken, and now I am at a place where I'm not sure where my next foothold should be. Where do we build next? What is the next step? I don't know. Surely you must have times where even you don't know what to do next.
I once heard a wise man once say, when you lead, you always know what to do. Even when you do not, you know what to do next. Many would end up thinking it foolhardy. If you do not know, why would you allow ignorance to end up guiding your actions? But the truth is there is something far more insidious if you do not. Doubt.
To sit idle is to allow yourself to doubt. It's to allow stagnation to take hold. Correct?
It destroys everything you've built. Stagnation is a portion of it, but on the whole, it means that many would ask, maybe we shouldn't be here. Oh my god, they do not have a plan. I don't know where they're going. Can I really trust them? How do I know that they're making the right decision?
That is a point.
And so this doubt becomes treachery. And so it crumbles. And it continues. And once that rot sits in, the only thing you can do is carve it out. That means finding everyone around you who's experiencing it and gutting it out by the root, and let the wind take the ash away. In hesitation in admitting you do not know what you are doing, you kill everyone around you. So, to answer your question, as far as everyone else is concerned, no. There has never been a moment where I have not known exactly what to do.
Interesting.
The burden Attenborough carries is one of her own design. The burden you carry is a whole nother matter. Yours is that of a parent. You watch your children fumble about. You give them direction. And you say with confidence, this is what must be, this is how it will go, this is what you must do. And when they believe that your words are true, they can accomplish miracles. Because they may doubt themselves, but they do not doubt you. If you say that it is capable, they will make it so, because you have said it is possible. So you live in fear. You live in fear if you made the right decision, if you are sending them on the right path. And yet you can never say it. You can never doubt it. You can never express it. You lock yourself in a cage with it, and you wrestle it with a stern face and a soft smile, as though the world dances upon your string, and thus you become God. After all, a parent is God in the eyes of a child.
I swear I've heard that somewhere before.
Robilius Ninos. He was a very old philosopher. He was speaking of something far older, but the idea remains true.
Indeed.
You see, you do the same very much right now. You are trying to end up remaining calm. You be stalwart. You are a stone. Amber may only be able to express in terms of rage and blasphemies that leave her mouth, but she is capable of expressing. You, on the other hand, are very much a stone.
I do believe you have expressed concern for that stone-like exterior before.
I have. You are looking for a solution. And the one that will end up ending it all, as though there was some miracle that could be done with a single action, and voila, the problem is solved. Yet that is not your role in this.
So what is my role?
That of a parent.
As you just said.
You are the child of Baron Delgado. My station is temporary. One born out of desperation from a group of individuals who need someone who is experienced in times of conflict. That is the only reason they have chosen me. Once the conflict is removed, there will be another.
And you would seek for me to be in that position.
It is a consideration.
Interesting.
But that means you must be as a leader. That is one of the fineries that has been lost upon you, I believe. You have created an Elysium that builds your reputation. That gives you a certain degree of notoriety, but it is only the first step. It is the first thing to gain momentum. What did I say about momentum? It can die the moment that there is doubt. Can give them no room for doubt. Swift action, wise counsel, decisions made in propriety. You, on the other hand, are not the kindred who has developed themselves to be the one that people come to better themselves the understanding of the world around them. Tell me, Velda, what is a baron? What is it?
First thought would be something of a public servant, I guess. One who maintains the area around them. Takes care of the people.
That is flowery language in a way to make the title seem almost wholesome. And if you believe that, you will be baron for perhaps a year.
So what is a baron?
A baron, to my experience, I'll have to apologize, I do not handle barons too well. The title itself feels wrong to me. But a baron can be summarized as an individual who can be viewed as a public servant. You have expressed its masquerade beautifully. But the baron is one who can maintain order. I am the closed fist that they need now. But should I maintain it, that closed fist that they value so much will simply be viewed as a tool of oppression. And so I will end up being ousted. This is what they do. In order to be barren time of peace requires an open hand. You have to be capable of being the solution to problems, the one to give the advice to guide. The reason they made me Baron was because I was already doing what the Baron does before I got the position. Look at what I've done. Fledglings, neonates, brought into my care, to guide them through the city, to teach them how to hunt, how to feed, how to hide, how to culminate their talents, to be a mentor. I am, to many in this city now, a sire by proxy. I'm whatever they need me to be. And so you must learn to do the same. But the kindness that Amber requires, for instance, cannot be taken from a stone. He gestures to Velda. She needs a parent. One who is capable of being stern when needed. And respected at all times. Amber will succeed. She will be able to get you the individuals needed. She will be able to get Clovis what it is he needs. I have no doubt. You need to be what Amber is. And right now, she views you as a, how shall I put this, almost as though a sibling. But your stations and places in this grand design are quite different. But until you take that, until you craft it, what more can you do? Do you have an army? Do you have funds that would drown the seas? Do you have domain? Do you have the respect and admiration of your peers? Do you have the wit to be able to understand the city in its whole, this imperfect machine lurching forward? Do you have the ability to whisper in an ear and destroy whole empires? What are you? In truth.
It's a good question.
The answer is obvious, but one that I don't think you will care for. You are the blood descendant of Delgado. The expectation of his rule will fall to you. But you are no Delgado. You don't know what you are. They don't know what you are. Even if you must feign it, vulnerability, even if in deceit, is capable of being so much more. Knowing the court. I've given you time and time and time again opportunities to ingratiate yourself in the court, to build your reputation among it. You've noticed, yes?
Indeed.
Do you believe you've made the most of those encounters?
have certainly done my best.
Do you believe you have made the most of those encounters?
Possibly not.
I believe you can. I believe that what is in you is the very seed that needs to be planted, and a potential barony given new life.
So where do I go from here?
With Amber, your first step is with your code ring. You may not believe this, Velda, but if you are capable of wrestling position to be something more than a wallflower, to be more than a icon to be held, that is what you are with me, as of right now. An icon to say, here is my claim, my legitimacy. I have the great lineage of Delgado at my side. But that is not forever. No. And so, when my time is done, who will turn to you? Who will respect you? Who will honor your name and take the time to actually be able to pronounce it? You laugh now, but I want you to consider what you are building is where by necessity Kindred will spend months, perhaps years, just to pronounce it just so, in fear on what would happen if they mispronounced it in your presence. Your name does not carry that weight, Velda, yet it must. If I leave my position, who takes it? Do you trust any of them to be your Baron? If you do, you are a fool. Delgado was the leader. In you, the capabilities may still be in there. You cannot look at the small picture, Velda. Yours is not to look at the tasks and say, how do I do this? Yours is to find, how do I get others to get the task done? How do I make this entire domain function? When you are the solution to this problem, your name will be spoken with reverence and fear alike. But they must trust you. They must believe that you are the solution they need. For that, they need to know that what they are looking at is not some unholy abomination, but something that is capable and has not lost itself to her own beast. And that is what the sort of fear you have managed to give at this moment. Or a snide convent. But there is no person before me.
You want me to be somebody who can produce emotion, who can lead, who can allow others to come to me. Am I understanding this?
The Bruja were responsible for the rebellion, it is said, with Dylan, and now with Theodore Bell. Theirs is the ability to stir passions in others, and it is a trait found in your blood as well. And yet, perhaps I am trying to draw blood from a stone. I don't believe so. But maybe I'm just insane.
Maybe we're all insane.
You'll
But
go with
I'm not a stone.
you will go with Amber. You will counsel. Not in how to do the job, but to be sure that it succeeds. Be her answer. And then you will meet others. Be their answer. Have it so that they come to you, knowing full well that your reputation stands alone. When you have done that, well, clearly I must forfeit the domain to the rightful heir.
Very well.
Tell me, Velda, do you know what you're doing?
I believe so. Thank you, Mr. Doyle.
Tell me, do you call that knowing what you know out of habit or respect?
Could it not be a combination of both?
I've been called a name I despise for so long. I don't think I could recognize anything else. He kind of looks at you. He doesn't find it funny.
She gives him a slight bow. Thank you, Prince Calhoun. I'll be on my way.
It is a dead name. But I am grateful. He gives her a nod. He just stays out in the woods. Giving Velda a chance to organize her thoughts.
What kind of thoughts have stirred in your brain, Velda?
That was an interesting, if not painful, conversation. To be labeled as stone. It is
What does he know?
one thing. This is not the time.
He doesn't know you. But maybe that's your fault.
Maybe it is. And if it is, that is something I will have to deal with. For now, there is a job to do.
Some power to gain?
Some power to gain. some steps to take.
Where are you off to, Velda?
She's gonna seek out Amber.
Okay. In the meantime, Urien, what are you up to?
I am doubting. Much like he ended up saying with Velda, trying to consider. Velda may very well be the next Baron. My job is to make sure she gets there. But I can only teach her what I know. The truth is that if this works, I will have made Baron Batista the most powerful woman in this city. Velda would be unable to hold the domain without her support at this given time. But Velda is capable. I have no doubt. She is clay that is still being molded, has yet to be placed in the oven and heated, baked into her truest self. And yet, am I being too cruel by placing such responsibilities, such burdens on one so young? I'm questioning many things right now. Velda would believe, I believe, that Velda and Emperor both see a nemesis that must be tackled like some grand dragon. Them on horseback with lances forward, visors down, making the charge. But that is not the way. That's how the young think. In order to beat one as young as Kyle, you must be much more than that. But how can I teach them to be when they have not experienced? How do I teach them to end up playing a game as an elder does when they have no foundations? I've tried to do so through example. And I've done so recklessly to illustrate lessons in fast, very, very fast pieces. He wonders if they ever considered Urien's progeny as the point of his power. Potential weakness, sure, but the strength as well. The thin bloods as well. Those in Delgato's domain as well. You must ingratiate yourself. Be the solution. Be the necessary evil. Whatever it is. Am I being cruel? Expecting so much of one so young. And yet that is what the Anarchs do. Anarchs are young, inexperienced, believe they know how to go about these things, and so all I can do is give them the opportunity and what wisdom I have. I've worn the crown of Baron, and perhaps Amber was right, it is fate that I rule. But the truth is, the title no longer fits. I don't think it ever has. And my old title is cast off. I don't know what I am anymore. Except an architect of a city that is crumbling.
Velda, you make your way back towards the house and find that Amber and Galvin are getting ready to leave.
Leaving so soon?
I was going to pay a visit to Isabella and to Benji.
Would you mind if I accompany you?
By all means.
I would love to get to know you a little better, Mr. Galvin.
Certainly. And so, the three of you are headed towards La Medianoche. Alright. 2 seconds to get us over there. Alright. And you're greeted by the usual fare. Dave is at the door, ushering you both in. But Galvin seems to have disappeared.
Well, this isn't really his scene. Not on the surface, anyway.
Yes, it's not like... It's not like he could just walk around. So this isn't unsurprising. But the general greetings will go out, and at the bar, I forget the bartender's name. Is it
Luis? Yeah.
Yep.
Luis is there. He's serving drinks. Seems kind of not busy at the moment because things have started to slow down a bit.
Hey, Louise, is the lady of the house in at the moment?
Yeah, she should be. She's back there with Benji.
Wonderful, thank you.
You're welcome.
And that's where we're gonna head back there. Knocking on the door, of course.
You knock on the door, and it is a moment before you get the response that she welcomes you both in.
And Amber would enter.
Amber. And Benji looks at you as like, oh, hey, what's up?
Velda would follow in behind.
Isabella. Benji.
And Benji kind of gives you like a what's up nod, Velda.
Pleasure to see you again, Benji.
I thought that I would come and give you a little update. I think I might have gotten you a little bit of a in on that people situation.
People situation. Do tell.
I've made a bit of a friend in the gym scene that I might be able to get you in with.
The gym
Referring, of course, to that personal fitness contact that I picked up a little whiles back.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't ever give him a name, but
Mm-mm.
just so you know that who I'm talking about.
Yeah. All right. So you have a contact that frequents gyms, owns a gym.
He's a personal trainer, so he works at a gym, I believe. But he's in contact with quite a number of people who frequent gyms all the time. You know, being a personal trainer and that being his occupation and all that.
How rare to find a personal trainer at night.
Well, sometimes people don't have anything better to do.
I suppose you're right.
Wasn't
But
that
I can
the one that we met at that party?
Party.
Very well could have been. Oh, Velda and I hit up a party not too long ago.
I hope it was enjoyable at the very least.
You should join us next time, Isabella. It was good fun.
Parties aren't necessarily my scene, dear.
Oh, I'm sure you'd fit in just fine.
My scene tends to have fisticuffs involved.
Well, you can
that sounds
alcohol
like
into
its own-
anybody.
Sounds like its own kind of fun.
I could always take you down to the pit at some point.
I won't be doing any fighting, unfortunately. That's not my forte.
Oh. I don't know, you might give the boys a little bit of an
Morality.
interesting fight. Even the most combat incapable are potentially swifter than kind.
Potentially.
If you ever decide to, I'll set you up with somebody who might be worth a challenge.
I might consider it.
Might be an interesting thing to consider at some point. But aside that, there's also someone that I wish to introduce you to.
Introduce me
I believe that. Yes, I believe that it is rather important that we're all on the same page about things. My only wonder, and I am going to pop sense the unseen here, although I'm probably not going to see him, I'm going to check to see if Galvin followed. I'm probably not going to see him. I'm probably not going to see him, but it's worth a check.
Go ahead and roll it for me anyway.
No. Okay.
You get the sense that even when he's not trying, he's hard to spot.
Yeah, I figured that might be the case.
And Isabella kind of cocks her head a little bit. All right. Are they here right now?
They should be. They should be. Are you here? She says to the room. Waiting for a response.
you hear a slight whisper in your ear of him saying, "Even here's a little bit risky."
Ah. They are, but they're a little gun shy.
She kind
That's
of
fine.
furrows her brows at you in confusion. Benji looks equally just as confused.
Isabella, they are of a less surfaceable persuasion.
Yes.
Aha. Well, we could all go down to the pit then. It should be empty by now. It's, kind of late in the night for people to be getting their teeth punched in. And she kind of gestures back to the door, and she leads you to a kind of back set of stairs where you go down, and there is in fact a cage ring. And she leads you all to one of the kind of private corners of the stands. Kind of gives a little bit of a shaded view. There's not very much in the way of lights down here anyway, except on the stage. And kind of speaks softly. I think we shouldn't be disturbed down here, so long as we keep it to a low roar.
And she would speak generally, not loudly, but generally. Is this a situation more suited to your liking?
And that is when you do see that he has in fact appeared. His arms kind of tucked behind his back in a very kind of proper stance. And Isabella just kind of looks him up and down for a moment and reaches out a hand. I'm Isabella Castile. And Theodore takes her hand and shakes it. And they go through some pleasantries. He asks her if she's related to Dr. Castile. She says, unfortunately. Divorced. Theodore gives a bit of an ah. And then he looks to you, Amber. Kind of looking at you as to what the purpose of this particular conversation is about, because you wanted to talk to her.
Yes, I thought it would be best if everyone was visible and audible in speaking about what I'm about to bring up. Because whilst I have, at the very least, the beginnings of some people for you, Isabella, we are currently looking at a very, very large problem.
Do tell. As if things weren't problematic already.
Yes. To cut a long story short, the Camarilla have brought in reinforcements. Powerful reinforcements.
Oh, goody.
And I do not have the ability to simply throw things at that in either a stealthy or a upfront manner. So I thought that the best idea would be to first off gather the advice of my elders, and second off to the thing that I discussed with you, I wanted to talk with you about, Benji. So I have a bit of a job for you.
Okay. Cool. Remind me again what we've discussed before. Never mind, we'll talk about it later. Isabella she cocks her head and says, "Alright, you need some advice?"
It's more... I may need to ask you to mobilize soon, and as such, I would like you to be in the know of, first of what's going on, and if you have any input, to give it, as your opinion is respected. Right now,
that.
I'm going to be frank with you in that I don't have the ability to deal with this. I don't think anyone does. So as such, right now I'm going to turn my attentions to building a power base that might be actually useful, instead of just, flapping my lips over and over and over again. And
Mobilize
that's where
in what
you come in.
fashion? More of the same. I've been gathering reconnaissance, trying to figure out who exactly is parading themselves over the airport, as I have been asked.
Have you found anything?
I have found that yes, we definitely can expect that anyone who goes in there that's Anarch will be seen. However, that does also mean that a couple of things have presented themselves. The word is that there are a few individuals who have been making residence around the airport, specifically at Tremere. I believe he goes by the name of Jacques Collin de Plancy.
Jacques. Let's see.
A man famous for his demonology work, if I recall.
Yeah.
That would be problematic.
Exceptionally. Yeah. Could I get politics on that? Because I'm pretty sure that name has been mentioned before.
I'm not sure if it's been by name.
I think Urien's mentioned a Jacques.
Yeah, Urien's mentioned him one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Urien's mentioned Deplancy by name at one point during a conversation.
It was offhand and it wasn't anything in depth.
Yeah, but he has mentioned the name before.
Okay. Then, if you want to know more about Deplancy, you can do a politics roll, but it might be a high difficulty given you're not Camarilla.
Intelligence?
Yes.
May I assist with that or roll as well?
You can roll separately if you like.
Politics, what was it?
Politics and
Ooh,
intelligence.
I'm willpowering that, lest that be a bestial failure. Nope. Damn it.
Amber, you know what Tremere are like. You know what Tremere will like a lot. You start to feel like just the whole notion of a powerful Tremere, especially if they have more or equal capabilities to Urien, and they have the backing of the Camarilla, who knows what that person's capable of? You start to feel paranoid.
Oh, yay! Paranoia compulsion.
Mm-hmm.
This Jacques. Do you know how long he's been in the city?
Not long, from what I gather. He really only appeared, so to speak, not really that he appeared at all, when the airport control was turned over to the Camarilla.
Possibly lying in wait then.
That's entirely possible. And Amber, the whole notion of lying in wait is definitely making you uneasy. Some predatory gaze or someone who's looking to just that idea is starting to really agitate you.
So he hasn't been there long.
But
I mean, that doesn't particularly matter how long he's been there. There's
Well,
a
it
lot
does. From what I've seen, the Tremere take a little bit of time to set up what they do. If he's been there for a while, who knows what he could have set up.
But the question becomes... Mr. Galvin, I'm guessing this was the Tremere that you were referring to earlier.
yes, it is.
And if he was capable of, say, putting that mystical tracking device in my phone, what else is he capable of? That makes me feel uneasy.
Yes, it should.
Well, so that we're all on the same page, you should probably be let know that the backup that was called in are apparently Ancilla of an unknown number. So that should give you an idea of whereabout we're looking.
Well, that probably would start to make things difficult, because the more people that they draw in, that can start to establish a semblance of a domain and a semblance of a haven, semblance of feeding. Really...
Starts to make things difficult on our end. Yes.
Yes.
Very much
We
so.
didn't know how many were existing before, and we certainly don't know how many are there now.
But now we know who the next one is. I have a thought, and that is that Mr. Calhoun is going to have to be setting up a court.
Yes.
How would he respond to his court slowly being picked off?
A court, as in...
As in the group that he surrounds himself with, the people that he sends to do his bidding,
So
to support him to...
Calhoun is looking to get support for Praxis.
Indeed. That's what I gathered from him last time I spoke with him.
How intriguing.
In fact, we've gotten word that he may well have already done so.
Which means his
So-
harpy is just about everywhere, declaring it to everyone else.
Exactly. So who would his harpy be?
That's a very good question.
Asher was in many places, wasn't he?
Asher?
No, not Asher. Ashley.
Actually, yes.
Ashley had his fingers in many things, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Especially, he's an exceptionally influential figure in the city.
He does a lot of talking.
Yeah, a lot of talking. In fact,
Has there been much word about him recently? Do we know?
So far as I know, he's still in Uptown.
mm-hmm.
Is he still
if there was
running his
anything,
way around?
if he was the only person who would probably know that, aside the that we would even have a hope of speaking to in any traditional way, unless you know, Mr. Galvin, is
You see that
Maxine.
Isabella's eyes go to Theodore. Hold on. I'm sorry. She looks at him kind of sternly. You would know some of what's going on there? Theodore just
Mr.
kind of...
Theodore is assisting us, Miss Castiel.
Assisting in what fashion? Theodore pipes up and says, I am simply an advisor. You can see that she is... You can see on the plainest day, she absolutely does not trust him. In fact, she looks like she's clammed up a bit.
Perhaps we should move this conversation. Yes?
Hmm.
She looks a little flabbergasted, like she doesn't really want to say anything.
Isabella,
Yes.
I don't trust him either. But he can be of some assistance.
I doubt that another Cammy is going to betray his own. I doubt that he's going to be of any use to us. In fact, he may even betray us and give away everything that it is that we're trying to do here. So no, I won't be saying anything more here.
Very well.
You all are free to leave.
Let's go. Yep. Ah, God damn it.
And she is simply waiting for you all to leave.
Very well.
In fact, she follows the four of you, trying not to lose sight of Galvin, but in a moment's notice, you do lose sight of him, and you may or may not believe that he is leaving with you.
Isabella, if I might have a word with you, just you and I.
It is no longer just you and I, Miss Velda. Not with him here.
Perhaps another time then.
Perhaps another time. And she actually ushers all of you out the back door of the bar and closes it behind you. And you know this to be a fire exit. It only opens the one way.
Damn it.
Me and my big mouth.
Give her some time to absorb the information.
She's... I don't know that she's going to absorb it very well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it was gonna come out sooner or later anyway, so... It was gonna be bad either way, but... Fuck.
Perhaps revealing it was not such a wise decision.
Yeah, no, me and my big mouth choking on my fucking foot.
Regardless.
I do still have that job for you, Benji.
Okay.
Look, we need to get people on. We need to get shit moving, because if we don't do something, we're gonna stall, and if we stall, we're fucked.
Mr. Galvin,
yeah.
are you still present?
Oh, what was that, brother? I missed that.
Mr. Galvin, are you still present? Please tell me you're not still inside.
Oh.
You don't hear a response.
Shit.
Fuck. Well. Well, it's
You know
not like
what?
we're gonna have
I
to
will
let the
vote
cards
here
fall where
for
they may.
him. Yes, well, I guess we must. Mr. Cullen de Plancy.
Amber, the fact that you can't see him is driving you nuts.
Studying
It is.
Studies demonology, what about it?
Oh, it's simply an interesting thing. Tremere, demonology.
I don't know, it seems like something that would be right up Urien's alley.
It would be.
He reads books
I wonder.
a lot.
I wonder if the Tremere are capable of summoning.
Oh, what?
It's simply a thought, but it'd be interesting if they could summon creatures or create creatures.
Well,
That's some hoogity-boogity pocus kind of bullshit.
Well, that's what the Tremere do, hocus pocus kind of bullshit.
What?
I'm sure Urien would not appreciate that.
Maybe not.
Well, I mean, wasn't there a thing with, like, ghosts and shit. I don't know. They're just full of hoogity boogity hocus pocus bullshit.
I want to see how much I can find out about this Mr. Duplancy. Who... I have a feeling, and bear with me here, was your sire not promised a position in court, Amber?
He was Seneschal, in fact.
Seneschal. So we know he's Seneschal.
Velda, do you
And
know
if
what
he
that
has a
means?
harp... Pardon?
Do you know what that means?
Nope.
You can...
What are the other parts of the court? Do we know?
Galvin was meant to be sheriff, but if he has actually at least somewhat jumped ship, that role instead would be going to his apprentice, who I was told earlier, but I forgot the name of, but I will repeat.
Fernando Steele.
Yeah, Fernando Steele. And a harpy, Banu Hakim, by the name of, and I forget the other name. I apologize. I am not doing well with names tonight.
That's fair. That's fine.
But I was also told that name, and that she was meant to be the harpy / herald.
What was the name for her? You said you couldn't remember.
Colette Crevier.
Colette Crevier.
Crevier.
Colette Crevier. So somebody's got to have seen this Colette around. We know that practice has been declared.
She's been spreading the word, then yes, she must have been around somewhere. At the very least, one of the very few things that I can be thankful for is that we have some idea of some of the people that we have to deal with.
A leader is
three
only
adults.
as strong as the pieces they have to move about on the board. What if he ran out of pieces?
Wouldn't he call for backup, like more pieces?
There's a limit to the number of people that he could pull in.
Theoretically, but it's the Camarilla.
Theoretically. But how many pieces do you think the Camarilla would be willing to give him in a failing effort?
He is a neonate.
Is it a failing effort?
As well.
Is it?
If we make it such, it will be. But the thing
What if he suffers enough losses, pieces either being turned or knocked over, chased out, whatever, that he just... I need to think on this a little more.
I mean, the same could be true for Anarchs, though. We lose enough
Same could be
pieces,
true.
we're gonna have to give up.
Indeed.
And let's not give up.
Mm-hmm.
We can't lose any more people.
no, we can't.
I mean, we lost the airport. That's like mode to get people in, like, top thing. I fail at words.
You're okay, Benji. I understand what you were getting at.
At least there's that.
So, airport, as always, remains top priority, which we know there is a Tremere guarding it.
Yeah. And who knows
And
who
if
else?
any,
I mean,
if any Anarch steps foot on the property, they will be known. But not... How would they respond to a supposed Camarilla stepping on the property?
Benji kind of furrows his brows at you. What do you mean? We don't know anybody.
Well, we do. But whether he would be willing to go in, whether it would be a wise decision is something else.
Wait, who?
He's currently locked inside.
That would be a bad idea.
It would be. I'm simply throwing ideas out to the wind. Perhaps throwing those ideas out might spark something else. Come on now, I'm not the only brains here.
Well, like, I mean, I don't know what you want me to say, because I'm kind of a brute by most people's standards. It's never really the brains of the operation. I mean, like, what little I do remember is violent of my past. So, yeah, let's not go that route, because that's shitty.
And there was mention of Sabat coming into the city. Wasn't there?
Yeah. And that motherfucker could go die in a fire if all I care.
That motherfucker?
Carnage.
Carnage.
Yeah, he's in town. Fucking
Oh.
hate that monstrous piece of shit.
Okay, I will take your word for it.
Amber, you didn't tell her?
I was sure that I mentioned it.
Not to me.
I swear that I did.
No.
Well, anyway, he's my sire. Or whatever that means. Anymore.
So he was the one that made you one of us.
Yeah. Not that I remember much about what all that entails. I just remember glowing eyes, big teeth, and a fucking attitude.
Sounds wonderful. Not. All right. Jacques.
Yeah,
And we're not going to get any more out of Isabella tonight.
No, probably not.
And we were making great headway too. Damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Who's next on your list, Amber?
Oh god. She's kind of there thinking. Considering everything's gone tits up, she seems a little agitated. And she's just like, give me a second to think. I didn't think this was gonna go so badly.
Amber?
It's been going
Stop.
so badly from the top.
Amber?
And now you just want to go
Take
bury your
a
head in the
deep
sand.
breath. One thing at a time. What's next?
No, we need to get out of here.
I don't know.
Everything's
I'm-
terrible.
I don't know what's next.
Okay. So what was your plan after speaking with Isabella?
Well, that's the
Had
thing.
that gone well?
Why
Had
is-
that gone well, what was next?
Why is she prying so hard? She's prying hard because she wants all her secrets. She wants in.
Next was to basically the idea was going to
No, don't tell her. Don't tell her. We have to.
get Benji to I was gonna get him to go around and do some investigating. If we ran into, it's been said several times that if we walked into any of those domains up north near the airport, that we'd be watched. The big question there would be who's watching us. Who are the
Yes.
eyes? And maybe, just maybe, if we found that out, not necessarily to blind them, but we might have a way of maybe employing something to get in there unawares, or at the very least, we'd know who to look for to, stop them from being able to see who's coming in and out. Because that's our big problem. Even if they do see us, we don't have enough for this and any kind of assault, because I have to.
Slow down.
I'm working on fumes. I don't
Okay.
have the
Investigation is
requisite.
next then.
I don't have the requisite power base to make any kind of proper move at the moment.
We need to figure out where eyes are. Who's our best resource for that?
Oh, well, I mean, we could ask Fisk, maybe.
They did mention that the unclaimed maybe have information that we weren't given to begin with. But we'd need something to offer in return.
What the hell would we give them? What would they
What do
care
they
about?
want?
Well, Lucio's first, Mr. De La Rosa, fuck. Their main goal is the city. The city is their first and foremost thing.
Yes. And as far as I'm aware, Mr. Chavez is working with Batista.
Didn't De La Rosa tell us that we have a contact for him now?
Yeah,
Indeed.
he's,
Tanisha, I think.
Tanisha.
Something.
Yeah, that's her name, Tanisha. Yeah, she is someone that we could go and talk to, and if we were to offer something, that'd be the person that we get in contact with.
So what questions do we ask?
I have no fucking idea.
Benji's kind of looking at you kind of concerned at this point. Because you seem way more flustered now than when you walked in the door earlier. He's not saying anything, he's not pointing it out, but he's just looking at you concerned.
Do you need to take a breather, Amber?
can't afford one. I can't afford to let this time slip through my fingers.
Yeah, it's getting kind of late, isn't it? It's going on,
Yeah.
what, 2:30 now?
I don't know, maybe we should just go and sleep and deal with it tomorrow night. Left me
Okay.
with a rusty poleaxe.
In which case,
In which case...
do you want to take the information about Colin de Plancy back to Urien, Amber?
Yeah. Sure.
Find out about demonology and in relation to the Tremere.
Can I? Actually, no. I'm not gonna do that. I've only got one dice pool at the moment because.
And everything
Compulsion.
you do until your compulsion is done is at a -2.
Yep. So that'd be one die in that pool. So no, I'm gonna leave that till later when I'm in bed and not just straight up sucking ass. Yeah. I'll go and talk to Urien about it.
It may not be wise to leave Galvin here on his own, but we don't really have a way of spotting him. He's a little bit too good at hiding.
I mean, that wouldn't make me assume that he can get himself out of a tight spot.
Yeah.
It's just whether or not he wants to get out of that tight spot or not.
Well, it's not like we could. I mean, outside of maybe persuading him, it's not like any one of us could actually physically stop him if he wanted to do something.
Well, Benji, this is basically home for you. Do you want to keep an eye out?
Sure. I wouldn't leave Isabella here by herself to potentially get mauled.
Yeah.
You've got my number?
I don't trust that guy with a 10-foot pole. Yeah, I've got your number.
Okay. Let me know if he shows up.
Cool.
And I may try and speak with Fisk.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, what was the name of the unclaimed
Tanisha.
Tanisha? I'll go speak with her instead.
Yeah.
Do I know where to meet up with her?
You know that you have been given a location in which you can leave a either like a spray paint or like a marker kind of marking, and it's possible she'll show up the same day. Depends on if she sees it in time or not.
Well, I will see if I can't get in contact with her.
Okay.
I'm gonna go back to Urien and hope to fucking Christ I survive.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, that was out of character.
Oh.
Yeah, Amber's not gonna straight up say that.
You, like, both Benji and Velda look like both of them to you feel like they're prying, they're watching, their eyes just are fixed on you, and you hate that their eyes are being drawn on you right now. When even though normally you love all eyes on you, right now their eyes are like daggers. And you don't like it. They don't like it at all.
Let's just get out of here. The sooner I get out of here, the sooner I can deal with this, the sooner they're gone. It's fine. Just... Yeah. Can I go do the thing?
I'm not stopping you. You do whatever the fuck you want.
And
Benji as well, if you could pass my contact information on to Isabella, I would appreciate it. I really would like to speak with her.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
yeah, yeah, Amber's just gonna leave at this point because it's just, she needs to get out of here.
And Benji goes back into the bar.
Velda would also leave.
Alright. And I believe that is where we are going to take a quick break. We'll be back shortly, everyone. We'll find out what exactly is going on here. Thank you so much for staying with us, everyone. We are back with our coterie, but we're going to follow Amber as she is driving back towards the meeting house in order to try and catch Urien before they all turn in for the night. Her mind, a million miles an hour with scenarios of doubt and of guilt and of the incredible shutdown of Isabella. And that races through her mind right now, and if she really thought better of it, she wouldn't go straight to Urien, but she's gotta do something. What if even Urien's conspiring against you? Cat.
If this is it here, then it'll be nobody's fault but my own. Does it matter if he's conspiring against me or not? He probably is.
It's not safe. We need to be safe. Where is safe? Where is safe right now? We can't go back to Ashley. We can't go back to our old haven. The new one's not even really that safe, is it?
There's nowhere we can go. There is nowhere that's safe anymore. because we fucked up. You know what?
No. Don't pin this on me. That wasn't my doing. That was your doing.
Yeah, and guess what you are?
I want to live. Let's get out of town. Let's
Go
just go.
where?
Anywhere. Doesn't matter. Let's just go. We don't need Ashley. We don't need them. They're all idiots anyway. Let's go.
Amber Dupree. Instead of running, maybe we should take some fucking responsibility for our failures.
And you drive up to the house. You see that Urien was possibly getting ready to go somewhere, but you catch him just outside the house, having pulled up yourself.
Oh, here we go.
Urien, you see Amber walking towards the house, and she's alone?
Miss Dupree, I believe that you are short 2 members.
Yeah. Yeah.
What happened?
Well, if I was to say that shit hit the fan, that would be an understatement.
You were not gone longer than an hour.
Apparently it doesn't take long with me. But, no. Mr. Galavant and I had a chat. About, he gave me some advice. Some very
Amber,
sound
preferably have this summarized before the sun rises.
Look, I went to do a very quick check-in on it. Isabella, hand off some contact information for some things that she could use. We had a conversation and things kind of went south. Then, well, Benji's keeping an eye on things at La Media Noche. I got Velda to go ahead and get into contact with, drop a line in with the unclaimed contact Tanisha. And the Galvin, well, I don't know where Galvin is. I think he's still in La Media Noche.
Why would he be in La Media Noche?
It's where we had the conversation with Isabella.
Why would he be in La Media Noche?
I don't know. We were ushered out, and after the conversation went south, we were ushered out, and he wasn't with us.
Why did the conversation go south, Amber? You were handing off information.
Because the topic changed, and I stuck my fucking foot in my mouth. There's no other way to put it.
I noticed you walked here. To this exact spot, so your feet clearly are not sliced off.
No, they're not.
So why is Galvin still at La Media Noche? You say you screwed up. What kind of screw up could possibly make him want to stay behind? Where is Theodore?
She found out he was Cam.
Why was he even involved in the conversation? To what reason would he end up speaking?
I...
It's because she drew attention to me.
Thank God.
He turns. Theodore.
Oh, thank God.
Do you think
I'm
that
glad.
something like that would keep me from coming out of the building, Miss Dupree?
No, I don't know where you went. All I could figure is that you were still in there for some reason. I didn't make any assumptions as to whether you were stuck or whether you had some agenda in mind or whatever. I didn't make any assumptions aside the fact that you weren't with us.
Miss Dupree, I am your advisor here. I am to advise. I am not to be drawn attention to. You want me present, I will be present. But I am Camarilla, and this is an anarch state. What did you think would happen?
If I'm being honest with you, Mr. Galvin, I don't know.
That is exactly your issue. You're smarter than this woman.
Ember, should I express to you what would have happened in Jackson this exact moment? You would be in 3 separate piles. Your skin in one, your bones in another, and your organs in a third, before they became ash. And do you know why I would do this?
No, why?
Because the truth is that when these things happen, the consequences become far more dire. For not just the one involved, but all of them. Everyone in court. So everyone in court must know that I take these matters very seriously. You understand, yes?
Do you understand?
Yes. Yes, I understand.
So be grateful that you are currently existing in an anarch state where me doing so would end up costing me far more. Mr. Dupree, at this exact moment I am trying to fight a war arming babies with shotguns. That is what this is.
This is no conflict for Childer.
Gunfight is one thing. This is something else entirely. In the Camarilla, you would be by your sider's side at all times to watch, to learn, to observe, to gain an understanding an appreciation of the circumstances and plights that which apply to you, to end up understanding that which you are a part of. The reason for that is this exact scenario. Theodore,
Yes.
what transpired from your eyes?
I followed Miss Dupree and Miss... That's a rather long name. Miss Velda into the establishment. We met up with Isabella and Benji. And as soon as discussion started, Miss Dupree announced that she wanted to introduce someone to Isabella. I was very confused as to the reason, as to whom. And then she announced my name. She said, thankfully, at the moment, Isabella didn't understand who it is that I am, and thus when we went to the pit, and Amber revealed that I am Camarilla, Miss Castile shut down. Would not say another word, simply escorted us out of the building.
And what did Velda do?
Frankly, both simply walked out. Neither tried to rectify the situation.
He raises his hand like that is enough. So, I am now absolutely sure that Isabella will have already contacted others. And there will be inquiries. I could, right now, ask Mr. Galvin here to remove her from the board. And she would not make it to Haven. I have no doubt. He cannot touch Camarilla, but amongst Anarchs, that would be him doing his job. So what would I tell Benji? That the Camarilla has destroyed his tutor, his savior. And I would be putting Mr. Galvin in undue risk for not more than a few words. What would I say to Benji then? What loyalty would you gain from that?
No, you most likely come to hate me.
Cannot hear you, Miss Dupree.
He would most likely come to hate me if he found out that it was my fault. My words that forced his hand.
So for the time being, I am placed at the mercy of those who I am to look over And I can tell you right now, Amber, anarchs once riled stop at nothing to destroy everything that they despise. If that were to start to come to my doorstep, I would end up telling Galvin to end up turning away. I would not end up risking him unduly. And I've done everything to not risk you unduly. Should I yell? Should I let the beast in my worst of natures do as it wishes? Because I do hear him, you know. That instinct. That instinct is telling me to end up biting into your eyes. And just hear you scream as the sun rises, stumbling blind in the woods, hoping to find some sense of shelter. But I know terror does not motivate you. Nor does money. Nor does power. And certainly not respect. So what do I do? Speak your mind, Ember. It seems to be what you do best.
What is that? What is that to say? I failed.
If you
and I
failed,
don't have an excuse. I failed and I don't have an excuse.
now you throw yourself at my mercies. But I know that anarchs do not show that. One of the free natures is that there is no sixth tradition. That if you do not like an individual, you can simply tear into them and make an example of them. The strong rule the weak. It is as animalistic as one can get. Take pride in that, Amber. I've tried to teach you. I've tried to guide you. I have given you the aid of one who is well beyond your years to be that whisper in your ear when you are uncertain. I am at a loss, an absolute loss with you. Theodore.
Yes.
You have my apologies.
For what?
For assigning you a pupil who did not seem to heed the lessons or understand the true gift that was offered to them. A situation that in any other city would have been seen as a blessing and one to be heeded greatly. In less than an hour was rendered all but useless. Now everyone will know you and associate that you have a puppet master pulling the strings.
Yes.
That your words are not your own, but you are Camarilla. So, congratulations, Amber. Sanderson won. He didn't need to do anything. I'm not going to berate you any further, Amber. I'm done with you. When you believe that you can end up actually providing this barony with some kind of use, when you believe that you have something to offer outside of being a piece of arm candy, when you believe that you're capable enough to end up being something more than a detriment and a threat to each and every one of us in here, then we'll discuss. But as of right now, I have 2 children I must end up educating properly. And I cannot end up taking on a 3rd. And I fear if they spend any more time with you, they'll start learning from you. And then they'd be worse than dead. I'll speak of this no more at this time. I will allow cooler heads to prevail. However, know that should Galvin end up finding you with no redeemable quality, well, his wisdom has served me well for hundreds of years. In less than a year, you have caused me no end of strife. I think I curse the day that you walked through my door, Amber Dupree.
Amber is simply silent.
What is the look on her face right now?
It's currently blank. Blank as blank could be, but anyone with any sense of insight would know that it's. She feels guilty. Everything that happened was her fault. There's no excuse for that. There's no getting around that. There's no justification for that. It was her fault. The point stops with her and goes no further. And that really, no matter how Urien feels, he's not wrong. What has she been but a liability? What has she been but a bird flapping and squawking and flailing around, not actually doing anything? Hell, not even being able to dazzle people with the colors. It's a bird pretty on the outside, letting out the ugly noises contained within and nothing else. And if that's the end of the discussion, Amber's gonna leave silently, not allowing that blank expression to leave her face, but at the same time not being able to stop the rivulets of blood dripping from her eyes.
And Amber walks out of the house.
She would, on her way out, she would if she is going by Galvin, she would speak an apology to him, because he deserves at least that much. He deserves a lot more, but at least that much before leaving.
He just watches you as you go.
And she's just gonna head back to her haven. It's too late to do anything else right now.
Do you think she heeded your words?
I think she mistakes my intent. Urien, Marius places himself in a exhausted pose, just slouching chair. It took everything I had to not just simply remove her from the board.
In Jackson, as you said, you would have punished her severely.
Let Amber think that she is disposable in the cast-off at this moment. Perhaps it'll steal her. Or maybe she will join the Camarilla and then we can just assume that everything will end up going accordingly. After all, her trying to help the Camarilla would end up serving as a net positive for us. I detest this, you know.
Yes, I know.
Anarchs. There are only a handful that I would end up saying are worthy of the respect. But then again, how do I even begin? I would need a decade of time just establishing, building, putting them in positions where they're capable. What is it when a Toreador does not understand their true capabilities? Were I Toreador, perish the thought. At least then perhaps I can express to them in some artistic flair, or bedazzle them by showing how to make an entire room dance to one's tune. And were I still the man I was, perhaps I could show some inkling of that. But instead, I am accursed to be this Tremere lick, this thin-blooded abomination. And so I cannot even demonstrate the simplest of abilities. She does not know her own strength, has no regard for it. and I cannot demonstrate differently.
The magnetism that you had, never developed. I wouldn't know where to begin. She should have spent many more years at Sanderson's side.
It is Sanderson who I should be punishing. He embraces a child then, who is not capable of bringing anything to the city of which he calls home. That serves no purpose other than to inflate his own ego. Velda, at the very least, can serve a purpose just through her being. Amber is a deficit. One I was hoping to have the time to forge until the Camarilla ended up arriving, and escalated plans far quicker than intended.
I could not stop Kyle's ambitions.
No. Nor would I expect you to. In fact, I would almost say that you would share them. I see one way to stop this madness. Only one. Yet I feared what it would mean. Theodore.
Yes, Marius.
Be truthful with me. Do we have one last run in us? We have no Liliana.
No.
But can we? Is it possible?
You would face resistance.
I would face resistance in either course. But while this ends up continuing, it will be a destruction of the city. What will be left will make Kyle the king of the ashes, or myself a lineage killer. But at this point, Ember has started a chain of events that I don't believe can be stopped. So they must run their course. I've already died to one Anarch rebellion. I have no intention of being consumed by the next.
And I have no intention of letting them. Not when I've just found you.
I miss her counsel.
As do I. What would she say in this particular regard? Something cryptic? Whimsical?
Perhaps she would be laughing at us as old fogies and fools.
She did frequently do that too. Seeing as we were twice her age.
I would sacrifice an entire city to have just one Liliana with us at this moment.
I found her great-grandchild. They're here in this city. Who exactly, I'm not sure. But it's rumor.
Is this the kindred who escaped from New York?
No. Someone else who's been here a little while longer. The one who escaped New York.
Hugh's quarry.
Yes. A tradition breach. A blood hunt. The Kyle was going along with Hugh's hunt because it served a purpose.
Body to the pyre.
Because it served a purpose to him. Hugh had requested our assistance, and we offered ours in return.
Liliana's descendant is among us. Wonder who that would be.
I don't know the lineage of this person who escaped New York.
But you're sure Hugh had no lineage towards Liliana?
If he did, we would have discovered it.
I think retire. Theodore.
Yes.
It's been a pleasure. Truly. I cannot in good conscience continue. Not right now. This action is going to make me rash. Act on accordingly. And the dawn is almost upon us. I will end up... He stops. Do you believe Miss Dupree could ever be molded into something worthwhile? Truthfully.
In the 4 years of her embrace, she admitted it to me herself, that she shirked everything that it was that S. Anderson tried to teach her, by having her observe, as one would in the Camarilla.
Yet that does not answer my question.
With time. She is stubborn. That much is clear.
heed your words. Thank you, Galvin. You have opened my eyes to a threat that I should be more cautious of.
Yes, my prince.
He looks to Galvin. Smiles a bit and nods. Do you need a place to stay?
I would not mind remaining by your side for now.
You would be my honored guest.
I believe
Go ahead.
I believe we could potentially have another one in us. Should you wish it.
I think for now, let us see where the board goes. But I have to now entertain the real possibility that we'll have to claim Praxis.
And that, I believe, is where we will end the session for tonight. Thank you to everyone who is still here watching at 4:30 something Central Time. It
I'm so sorry.
much late, but thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to my players for being up so late. I'm so sorry.
It's only 7:30 here,
That's
so
okay.
Yeah,
it's
like-
only 40.
Yeah, no, it's 20 to 8 over here, so it's fine.
sorry.
It's fine.
7:40 here.
Okay. Well, we've got an audience favorite vote coming in now, so let's go ahead and start with some recovered willpower. I don't think anybody's spent much today. We didn't roll very many dice.
No.
I spent
No.
one,
Okay,
which I'll get back when the night ends.
And it still didn't work.
yours still didn't work.
The willpower roll just didn't.
Mm,
It just didn't.
it just didn't. Yeah, sadly. Well, there's that. What about some... We don't have stains, do we? Do we?
Nope.
No.
Oh, no, there is.
Mm,
There is one.
there is one.
Who's
I
that?
breached a conviction.
Mm,
I breached a conviction. Kindness to those who deserve it, rather than love wasted on ingrates.
great. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that is it sounds cruel, but that's the assessment of Amber right now.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I am taking a stain.
Okay. Amber, remind me what your conviction is.
My conviction is don't be afraid to take your dreams by force if you must. At this point, she knows that she failed, but she's not running away from trying to help Urien. Not in the least.
Out of curiosity, lethality, have you ever watched a series called Reboot?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I'm not sure if this one would count at the moment. People are fallible. If one makes a mistake, one should do one's best to rectify it and resolve any harm that might have been caused.
I think it's kind of skirting the line because that is you allowed for Amber not to try and rectify a broken situation in front of Isabella, but she did in front of Urien. which you
Velda
don't necessarily know about at this point, but
did mention, like, she was going to try and pull Isabella away, but at the same time, it just wasn't going to happen. So I don't know if that would count to a conviction break.
She did attempt.
the attempt is what matters, and so
And she will be going back to talk to Isabella at some point or another.
yeah, it's the attempt that matters. So if you say you also have a convention that none may control me, that if you make the attempt to resist control, that's not a stain on you. You still resisted. You still tried to resist. So
I leave that call to you.
I'm
I don't know.
I'm on the fence about that one, because that one's very tough, because Amber did absolutely prove that she is fallible today.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
But
Velda,
I'm more looking at it in the sense of Velda making the mistake of not fixing the situation right away, or letting Amber continue to talk, is more what I'm looking at.
letting Amber dig her own grave.
So that was a bit of a mistake on Velda's part.
Yeah, and you didn't really try to fix it with Amber letting her do that.
Yeah.
Oh
So-
boy, I'm just the cause of a whole bunch of stains today. Yay!
Well, Velda's is more applicable to her in that she kind of just sat and watched as the dumpster
Yeah.
fire was starting,
That's what I was thinking about.
and could have intervened.
Deer in headlights struck. So I guess I'll take that one.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Okay. So I
So
need
I
to make a
want-
remorse roll.
I want remorse rolls, yes.
Yay. Oh.
Both of you feel like absolute shit. Velda, you know for a fact that there was something that you could have done, and it's going to play over and over in your head. I could have done this. I could have fixed this right in the moment, just as Amber was opening her mouth. I could have asked her what her plan was in regards to Galvin before we all stepped in. I could have prevented this from happening.
Yep.
Amber is definitely one that is a hard nut to crack, Urien. You're not sure if you were too harsh or not harsh enough. But you can't really afford to have someone incapacitated right now. So while it stings in whatever way that you feel in that direction, you can't afford to be down a man. But you wonder if you even have one to begin with. Okay, so that's stains. Now
Goody.
we're moving on to experience. So everybody gets 1 for playing tonight.
Yay. I've hit 50 total.
And
Don't know
so,
fucking how, but I hit 50 total.
so aside from that, there's 3 categories in which everybody gets a bonus experience for the sessions, which is the who moved the plot, who had the best scene and who had the best lines. So, who moved our plot?
Well, I was gonna vote me, but then all of a sudden Amber happened.
Yeah. I actually Amber.
I think that's
Don't wanna be
unanimous, Amber.
glorified for this. I want to be glorified for this.
There's your XP. Spend it wisely. I
Yeah.
hope it was worth it.
I hope it was worth it.
No! No!
That one's yours, Amber. Take it.
I'm taking it, but just know that I don't feel good about it.
In the Alps.
Yes, in the Alps.
Best scene.
Urien.
How do you figure?
For the way that he chastised Amber and what happened afterwards with Galvin. No, Urien.
Urien was doing a lot of chastising tonight.
I hate doing that. I really do.
Well, it is within the teacher's nature to chastise when something goes wrong.
This is true.
Alright.
If both of them are agreeing, Urien, you get that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Best line.
Oh god, there was one something I said to Velda, I'm trying to remember.
Something about her name?
Yeah.
Oh yes, and someday, there will be a time where neonates will spend weeks, months trying to perfect the pronunciation of your name, in fear of the repercussions should they embarrass themselves in court. Which I audibly heard you try and hold a giggle in.
Yeah.
Oh, I laughed. I thought that was funny.
Love it.
No, they're also
It's also
because
terrifying.
no one can fucking pronounce her name. No one.
I
Except
swear to
Amber.
God, you did that just to troll us.
No,
No.
her name.
It's been her name for as long as the characters existed.
I swear to God, you ended up doing that.
This
And that
character
character's been around a long time.
Long before I started playing this game.
Von Sventka zu Oldenburg.
Oh, you almost got it.
Yes.
So close.
He's gonna get it eventually, and when that
One day.
happens,
One day it'll happen.
we'll get 42. The Hitchhiker's reference.
I am now just going to end up referring to you as Velda of the House of Quark.
Oh my god.
I feel bad, man.
Yeah,
I feel
well.
so goddamn bad.
So is that Urien for best line?
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright.
And Amber, it looks like you won the audience's favorite today. So,
Congratulations.
congratulations on that.
Everybody enjoys Amber's pain.
You are failing upwards.
Yay! Feeling upwards. Oh, look! I can buy another advantage dot.
Oh no.
What are we? Are we spending any experience at this point?
No, I gotta bank. I gotta bank. If I'm gonna survive this, I need to bank to at least Blood Sorcery 5. I need to bank to that. And then once I end up getting up there, then everything else comes into play.
I'm not going to spend experience right now,
Okay.
but I do need to sit down and figure out where I'm going to spend all of this damn stocked up experience that I've got.
How much you got, girl?
17 now,
My dude.
because I haven't been sure where to put it. So
We
I've
can
really
talk
got to
about
sit
it.
down and work that out.
We can talk about it if you want.
Yeah, I'm not gonna spend it right now. I may end up spending it. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Oh, Amber.
I have no idea.
So, CoffeeCat, are you opposed to me rolling up a Toreador for my next character?
I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care.
I know if
gonna have a
Amber
group
inevitably
portable running
dies
around.
the way that she's going, she may die very soon.
Oh, no. Amber does not get to die, okay? You get to be the last one standing in the wreckage of your own creation. Okay? You don't know how vampire works.
You get to experience what Mouse and Rashad did. This is the ashes on which I am king.
If something happens to Velda, I'm totally probably gonna bring in my gang baby,
Well,
who is
we're not to
based on a.
we're not to that point just yet. But
By the way, Lethality, I found an old image of you back when you were a kid.
well, if there's not going to be
I
any
have a response.
experience expenditure while we're on the stream, we definitely love all of you who have come by in Maddie's raid. Everybody is wonderful. Thank you so much for coming along with us
Yes.
on this very
Thank you, guys.
late in the evening Central Time stream. How it is that
Thank you, guys.
Yep. So we will be back maybe next week at the same time, given that my work schedule has me working at our regular San Antonio by night time. So we are likely going to be back next week, 1 a.m. on Wednesday night into Thursday, so that we can come back and play again. Until then, say goodnight, everybody.
Good night.
Oh, I'm so fucked.
I gotta get out of this place. If it's the last thing I ever do.